Hey guys, Max92 and welcome back to another tryout. Today's tryout is on Death End Request. So it's very unlikely you would have noticed this, but I was on vacation the last week, and so I haven't done this in a bit, so if I'm off-seeming, it's because I haven't done this in like 2 weeks. I haven't recorded a video. So anyway, this is a game I got, I was ordering some stuff from Limited Run Games, some like stuff they had on hand, and this was something I picked up because I was like, this looks like it could be interesting conceptually, and it's like has like mystery elements and like trapped in a video game stuff, and it's like, sure, I want to give that a try and see what it is. Narratively, this is what I would call like a not hack or a not dot hack thing, where it's like, that's the plot basically. If you've seen Dot Hack Sign, that's your basic plot idea. You've got a person stuck in a video game MMO, VRMMO thing, and we're not sure why. It's a mystery as to why. I've not played a dot hack game, so I don't know exactly how those work, but this is also like a JRPG type thing, but its combat system is pretty unique, and I'll talk about that. And I think it also leans a bit edgier than at least like the original quadrilogy of dot hack games are. GU, from what I can tell, is somewhat edgy, but like this is like, it's anime edgy thing. We've probably seen something like it before. It's got an M rating, it's got blood. Like, just look at this opening thing, this thing that starts the game. I think that's a pretty good like tone setter for what happened, what this game is like tonally.
Sheena! A monster, infected by a deadly virus, opened its sinister maw and sank its razor-sharp fangs into her flesh, locking its jaw onto her before spitting her out.
Additionally, I didn't, like, looking at this box art and reading the description, I wouldn't have expected it, but this game has a decent amount of, like, fan service type stuff. Just, like, I'm not gonna I can't really show any of it on YouTube, but some of it is a little unavoidable, like, just seeing up the main character's skirt as you walk around the game. And then, like, there's a transformation sequence where it's just like, they did a magical girl transformation, but they stopped partway through, and so they're just, like, mostly nude. Like, that sort of stuff is here. So, like, that's also part of the M rating. So, like, those things, like, the edginess, the blood, the partial nudity, might be like a no-go for some people, so I figured I'd mention it up front. I also noticed some performance issues on the Switch. Not like everywhere necessarily, and it's hard to tell, like, maybe it's kind of intentional because you're playing within a discontinued VRMMO that was like not finished or whatever. So like, maybe that's like part of the experience, but that's probably giving it too much of a benefit. There's just some, like, the very beginning area ran pretty poorly. I didn't notice it as much as I played further in, but maybe I just got used to it. I'm not sure. I think the part that has made me keep playing this game, because like, I've put a lot more into this game than I usually put for a tryout. I've definitely put probably like 5 or 6 hours into it. I have to check my play times and put like a thing up if it shows it in game. The combat system is really interesting, and I've not really seen anything exactly like it so far. I mean, I don't play a lot of JRPGs or games like this or whatever, so it's very likely that there's stuff like this out there, but just the way that, like, the combat system plays in, like, a physics environment and stuff is really fun to mess around with. You just sort of launch enemies into each other, and they bounce off each other, and they bounce off the walls, and it's just really engaging, and I just don't even, like, anytime I see an encounter, I'm like, sure, why not? I think it also helps that I'm probably overpowered because I just activated like all of the DLC in the DLC menu, because this has like whatever downloadable content would have been with the game just in it. I don't know when this game originally came out or anything off the top of my head. It's got all this like stuff that's like DLC, and I just turned it all on, which gave me like an extra party member who's like a late game spoiler and some other stuff. So like, I probably shouldn't have, but it's definitely made the game fun to play. I'll give it that. However, for like the intro section, there is quite a lot of narrative that the game is going to give you, a lot of cutscenes and like visual novel type sections that you don't have choices in. So like it takes a bit of time to get going to where you have control of a character in the game and also control over your character in the real world, because you play two characters. You play, I don't remember their names off the top of my head. I think Sheena is the girl who is trapped in the video game, and then this guy who is, you know, in the real world dealing with like some real world mysteries that are tied into what's happening in the video game. And it seems like there's some supernatural elements going on. It's just like a big mystery you're trying to solve on the real world while also trying to make your way through the video game to escape the video game world with the other character. This is like an entwined narrative that I think is really interesting and really well put together for the most part. There's not a lot to do in the real world so far. Like, basically, I'll progress in the game and I'll find something, and then it'll be like, okay, now you have a new, like, event in the real world that you can go look at. And so you go over to the real world from, like, the menu, and you basically go through, like, a visual novel section, and then you can go back to the video game part. But I like it so far. Like I said, I put a lot more into this than like I usually put in for a tryout. I had to explicitly not take this game with me on vacation so I wouldn't like play too much of it for this video, because I prepped it in advance of vacation. Like, I wrote the script and played through and got footage and all that before, but this video is being recorded after vacation. So there's like a note in here that's not even like a thing anymore. Like, I at one point got stuck in the prologue area, and I missed an item. That was it. I had overlooked an item, and I found that, and I haven't had issues since then. I now have 2 additional party members that I don't think I have footage of even. I'll probably have to pick up some more footage for this video, maybe if I have time, but I'm rambling. So as I was editing here, I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss another thing about the combat, which is that the combat system has a little bit more than just like the bouncing things off walls. There's also the battle hacks that you can do, which there's a variety of things, but the one that's going to be seen in the footage right here is one that allows you to change the genre of the game. At this point, I only had this one unlocked, but like it basically makes the game into a shooter instead of an RPG, basically, and so you shoot the enemies. And I think on the box art, there's some like other ones shown, like a fighting game and some other stuff. And then you can also like use hacks to hack in enemies, which I could show footage of here, and, you know, add status effects and all that sort of stuff. It's just like a way to engage with the systems even more. There's a lot going on in this combat system, and I think it's really, really interesting. But now I'll just get back to what I recorded before. And I think my conclusion for this game is pass ? It's this thing where it like feels like a kind of like trashy anime thing, but it's got this like really interesting combat system that I keep like being like, yeah, I want to play the combat system. And also the way that it's set up, its mysteries are really engaging and make me want to come and try to solve them. So it's like, sure, it's this like edgy, trashy anime thing, but there's something going on with it that I want to experience it. And I want to see where it goes, and hopefully it goes somewhere cool, because like that stuff doesn't always pan out in the end, you know? Sometimes it'll be like a cool concept that doesn't really stick the landing. That happens quite a lot. But yeah, check it out, maybe, if any of that sounded interesting to you, any of that looked interesting to you. I don't know if there's any more physical copies available, but it's on the eShop. It's not very expensive. I think it's only like $30, so which is on the less expensive side for video games. I don't know. I'm rambling again, so let's just get into the end bits here. If you go in the description, you find a Beacons that I link, they'll take you to my places like my Patreon, Bandcamp, Redbubble, etc. Click that link, go to those places, do what you do there. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't. Subscribe if you want to keep with this on their shows. This is mostly what I'm doing right now, but I have some other stuff that will hopefully come out periodically. So if you subscribe, you'll get to see those things as well as this show. Leave a comment. Have you played this? What is your favorite trapped in a VR MMO thing. I can only think of like 3, including this. But what's your favorite? Leave a comment, share the video, do the things. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!